Today we have a tier list video, and not just any tier list, a Navy Federal Credit Union credit card tier list. Navy Federal has 6 different credit cards, and each one of their cards serves a very specific purpose. They have cards for building credit, for maximizing rewards, for travel. So today we're going to be breaking down all 6 of those cards and then throwing them on a tier list where S is the best card and then F is an absolutely terrible card that you should never get. But first, let's talk about why people like these cards. Because these cards are a little bit niche. You're not going to see as many videos made on them as cards from, let's say, Chase Bank, but people really do love these cards, and Navy Federal has kind of an inside cult. The first reason that people love these cards is they give really high credit limits, and I mean really high credit limits. Like with the Flagship card, you can get all the way up to $80,000, which is absolutely an insane amount to have on one card. And the rest of the cards you can get up to a $50,000 limit. If you want to get other credit cards, it's going to be a lot easier to get approved if you already have a credit card with a very high limit. It's also going to be easier to get approved for other kinds of loans because lenders are going to see that you already are being responsible with a very high credit limit. Also, if you have a high credit limit on a card, when you put a purchase on it, it's not going to take up that much of your utilization and you're going to have a better credit score. The second and a really big reason that people love these cards is that you don't have to have the best credit score to get approved and get that high limit. Because Navy Federal is such a relationship-based bank, you actually have something called an internal score with Navy Federal. If you go and apply for something like a credit card, when you get your decision in the mail, you're going to have your internal score. Your internal score is pretty much going to be your credit score with Navy Federal. And the more business you do with them, like having credit cards, having loans with them, setting up direct deposits, keeping money in your savings account, that's going to give you a better internal score, and you can get approved for their products without having the best credit score. These cards also come with no foreign transaction fee and no balance transfer fee. Plus, there's a pre-approval program, so you're going to see which cards you're going to get approved for without getting a hard pull on your credit. Now, if you do choose to go and apply for one of those cards, they're going to pull from TransUnion. And also, you can only have 3 of these cards with a maximum credit limit across all your cards of $80,000. But if you do somehow get approved for an $80,000 limit on your Flagship card, and you want to add some of their other cards to your wallet, or if you already have 3 cards, that's okay because they have really good customer service. You can product change from one card to another, or move your credit limits around. Most of the time, all you're going to have to do is log into your banking app and then send them a secure message, and they're going to take care of that for you. Now, obviously, to get these cards, you do have to be a part of Navy Federal, and to get into Navy Federal, you have to have some affiliation to the military. So that means that you're going to have to be in the military yourself or have a family member in the military. But if you're watching this video, you're probably already in Navy Federal. So enough of me yapping, let's just get into this tier list. So let's start this tier list off hot and talk about the Flagship Rewards credit card. Now, this credit card gives you an insane amount of value in the first year, and I mean insane. You're going to get 40,000 points when you spend $3,500 in 90 days. So that's going to be a $400 reward. Plus, you're going to get a free year of Amazon Prime, which is $140. And right now, 75% of America has Amazon Prime, so that's going to save a lot of people money. So right away in this first year, we're already at $540 worth of value. But then they're going to throw in statement credits for TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's one of the best things that you can have in an airport. You don't have to wait in the lines. You can go through TSA PreCheck and get through way quicker, which is going to save a crazy amount of time and definitely worth that statement credit. And the rewards on this card are pretty good too. You're going to get 3 points on all your travel and then 2 points on everything else. That 2 points on everything else is just going to be huge because you can use this as your catch-all credit card and earn a good amount of rewards for all your miscellaneous purchases. And then I also really love that 3 points on travel because that actually does work with Airbnb. And if you're anything like me, you love going out and getting a really cool Airbnb. And I know there's a lot of horror stories out there about Airbnbs, but I just feel like there's so many cool ones out there, and a lot of times it just beats the hotel experience. And this is one of the few cards that I know that'll actually reward you for staying at Airbnbs. And that 3 points isn't just going to be for your airline, hotel, and then cruise ships. It's also going to cover car rentals, timeshares, campgrounds, RV parks, ride-sharing services, parking, bridges, tolls, ferries, museums, amusement parks, and golf courses. I think this is a great card for people that don't want to use travel portals, want to use this card to buy flights and travel as cheap as they can find it online, and then get through those airport lines quicker with TSA PreCheck. And this has no foreign transaction fees, so you can use it overseas with no penalties. The only thing that you can complain about this card is it does have a $49 annual fee. But I don't think that's that big of a deal. If you look at other premium travel credit cards, they're going to have $95 annual fees, and a lot of those cards don't even have TSA PreCheck. And like I said, even if you just open this card up, hit that sign-up bonus, and then use the statement credits for TSA PreCheck and then Amazon Prime, you're already getting over $600 worth of value. But all you would have to spend on this card to justify that annual fee is $1,633 in that 3% category, and then $2,450 in that 2% category. I think this is a great card, and definitely a card that I'm going to be getting from Navy Federal, so I'm going to throw this in the S tier. So now let's move on and look at another popular card from Navy Federal, which is going to be their Cash Rewards card. So just like that Flagship card, you're going to be getting an insane amount of value in the first year of having this card. You're going to get $300 when you spend $3,000 within the first 90 days. Plus, you're going to get a $98 statement credit when you spend over $50 for a Walmart Plus subscription. That sign-up bonus is really healthy right now. That $300 was just bumped up from $200, and I think it's going to stay there for a while. Now, personally, I don't go to Walmart very much, so I'm not going to value that Walmart Plus subscription like I will that Amazon Prime subscription. But if you do use Walmart Plus, then that statement credit can definitely help you. As far as the cash rewards go with this Cash Rewards credit card, you're going to get 1.5% back on everything if you do not have direct deposit set up with Navy Federal, but if you do have direct deposits, you're going to get 1.75% back. So here's the deal with this credit card. A lot of people are going to steer away from it because it only gives you 1.75% back max, while other credit cards like the Citi Double Cash or the Wells Fargo Active Cash are going to give you 2% back on everything. But this card comes with a $300 sign-up bonus, while the rest of those cards usually just come with a $200 sign-up bonus. If you got a card like the Citi Double Cash, which comes with a $200 sign-up bonus but gives you 2% back, and this card with a $300 sign-up bonus but only 1.75% back, you would break even at $40,000 of spend. That is a crazy amount of spend to put on a credit card. So because this card gives you such a good sign-up bonus, it's going to beat out all those other catch-all credit cards for a very long time. Now, as far as where we're going to throw it on the tier list, I'm going to put it in B tier just because that sign-up bonus is really good. Now, you are probably going to want to have direct deposit set up. Now, let's move on to a card that is a card that's going to attract a lot of people for the wrong reasons, and that is going to be the Platinum card. Just like the rest of the cards, this has no balance transfer fee, no foreign transaction fee, and no cash advance fee. And this is a no annual fee credit card. Now, personally, I do not like this credit card because it does not come with any rewards or sign-up bonus. But it does give you a very, very low APR. Right now, it's at 11.99%, and off the top of my head, I can't think of another single card that gives you that low of an APR. Now, 11.99% APR is lower than all other credit cards, but it's still not worth carrying a balance on your credit card for. However, that rate is low enough where people would want to just keep this card open in case they have to do something like go and get a personal loan. Besides enticing people to spend money that they don't have because they get a low interest rate, or at least relatively low as far as credit cards go, there is one use for this card, and that is for a balance transfer. You're going to get 0.99 APR for the first year on all the balance transfers you do within the first 60 days of opening up this account. And then after that year, it's going to be the regular APR, which, depending on how good your credit is going to be between 12 and 18. If you're in the spot where you have to do a balance transfer, this is the best card from Navy Federal to do that, but it does only give you a year to pay that off, while other credit cards will give you up to 2 years. Now, there is going to be 0.99% interest on your balance transfer for that first year, but that's going to be a lot lower than every other credit card because if you go to another bank, most of those balance transfer credit cards are going to charge you 3 to 5% just to move the money over, so you're going to end up getting a pretty good deal. But other than that, I don't really see a point of this card. Don't open up this card in case for emergencies. Build up that emergency fund. Be financially responsible. I'm going to throw this in the D tier. Let's look at their next card, which is going to be their nRewards secured card. Now, this card is meant for building and rebuilding credit, but I actually really like this card for doing that. And there's a couple of reasons why. But first, let me explain exactly how this card works. So you're going to put some money in your savings account from Navy Federal. This is going to be as low as $200 all the way up to $5,000. But most people are going to be in that $200 to $300 range. You then go out and apply for this card, and then Navy Federal is going to take that money in your savings account, and however much money that you want them to take and hold, they're going to give you a credit limit of that amount. So let's say you had $200 in your savings account, they would take that, give you a $200 credit limit with this card. But after just 3 months, this card is going to become partially unsecure, and as long as you've been responsible, they're going to give you a credit limit increase. And I've seen a lot of people just hold this card for 3 months and then get all the way up to a $2,000 credit limit. Now, that's not a crazy amount, but that's a lot higher that you're going to see than any other secured card, especially after just 3 months. And then if you have been responsible with this card, after just 6 months, they're going to give you your initial security deposit back, and instead of having this nRewards card, they're going to give you the Cash Rewards card that I just talked about. So you'd then be earning 1.5 to 1.75% back on all your purchases. But even in that 6-month period while you're waiting to be graduated to an unsecured card, you're still going to be earning 1% back on all your purchases, which isn't crazy, but it's still something and more than a lot of other secured credit cards are going to give you. So I really like this card because after 3 months, they're going to trust you with a higher credit limit if you've been responsible. And then after that 6 months, you're going to be completely unsecured, and you're most likely going to get a pretty healthy credit limit. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's going to be a lot easier to get approved for other credit cards, especially Navy Federal credit cards, because you're already going to have this card, which is going to build a really strong relationship with Navy Federal. So with this nRewards secured credit card, there's obviously no reason to get it if you already have a strong credit profile. But if you need to rebuild your credit, or your credit just isn't that good, and you want to build a relationship with Navy Federal before applying for one of their premium products like the Flagship credit card, this is definitely a good credit card for that. And for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the B tier. Now let's go ahead and look at probably my favorite card from Navy Federal, which is their More Rewards credit card. So just like their other rewards credit card, this is going to give you a great sign-up bonus of 30,000 points, which is going to be worth $300. You're going to have to spend $3,000 within the first 90 days, which is a little bit more difficult to hit, but if you can manage it, you're getting a great sign-up bonus. You also get 1.99% for the first year on balance transfers, as long as you transfer over your balance within the first 60 days. And just like the Cash Rewards credit card, this is also going to give you a $98 statement credit when you get a Walmart Plus subscription. In addition to that, it's going to give you 0.199% APR for the first year when you do a balance transfer within the first 60 days. So this is also a pretty good balance transfer card. But even if you're not going to use the balance transfer and then that Walmart Plus subscription, the $300 sign-up bonus for a no annual fee credit card is just insane. And we haven't even gotten to the rewards that this card gives you yet. This card's going to give you 3 points on all your restaurant and then food delivery, 3 points on all your supermarket purchases, and then 3 points on all your gas and transit, as well as 1 point on everything else. So the rewards on this card are amazing because it hits all 3 big spending categories, which is going to be your gas, food, and then groceries. So this is going to be an amazing card for anyone that just wants a simple cashback card that hits all their big spending categories. Also, if you call this number here, you're going to get 25% off of a lot of big car rental companies. So there's really not a lot to complain about here. And if you pair this card with the Flagship card from Navy Federal, you're going to have a really good duo going, because you can use this card to hit your big 3 spending categories and use the Flagship card for travel and then catch all. And if you combine the sign-up bonuses with these 2 cards, you're getting over $1,000 of value. And as far as I'm concerned, this is an S tier credit card from Navy Federal. I think this card does a lot better job than some other 3% back cards like the Amex Green, and it's really rare to see a card like this with no annual fee. Now up to this point, I've been pretty high on the Navy Federal credit cards, but there is one that I love to hate on, and it's time for me to hate. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Go Rewards card. If you put this card in a vacuum, it's really not that bad of a card, but the More Rewards card that I just talked about makes it absolutely useless. First of all, it doesn't come with a sign-up bonus, and I don't think I would get a cashback card if it doesn't come with a sign-up bonus, because it's going to take forever to recoup the amount of value that you're missing out on. Now, it does have 0.99 APR for 6 months on purchases, but that 6 months isn't a lot of time. And if you're putting a big purchase on this card, there's probably a big chance you're not going to be able to pay it off within that 6 months. And then you're going to be forced to carry a balance on this card. And then if we go ahead and look at the rewards that come with this card, you're going to get 3 points back on restaurants, 2 points back on your gas, and then 1 point back on everything else. Now, you might be thinking 2 points back on gas is okay, and then 3 points back on restaurants is actually pretty good. And while I guess that is true, the More Rewards credit card is going to give you more rewards in this card. It's going to give you that 3 points on dining, but it's also going to give you 3 points on restaurant delivery too. And instead of 2 points on gas, it gives you 3 points on gas. And if you buy groceries with this Go Rewards card, you're only going to get 1 point back, but if you buy groceries with the More Rewards card, you're going to get 3 points back. So the More Rewards credit card just makes this card absolutely useless because it's better in every single possible way. Now, this card is a little bit easier to get approved for than the More Rewards, but like I said earlier, it's not that hard to get approved for these cards. All you're going to have to do is build up your relationship with Navy Federal. And if you just wait 6 months, I think that's definitely worth getting a way better credit card than the More Rewards and the Go Reward. So this card, I'm going to throw in the F tier. Maybe it doesn't deserve to be that low, but I'm hating, so I'm just going to throw it in there. So if we go ahead and take a look at our final tier list here, you're going to see at the top I have the More Rewards and then the Flagship card in the S tier. And then there's all the rest of the cards in the middle, and then of course the Go Rewards card in the F tier. And there's really only one problem with Navy Federal's credit cards, and that's that their best cards make their lower cards obsolete. We just talked about the More Rewards being better than the Go Rewards in every single way, but the Flagship credit card also gives you 2 points on everything else, while the Cash Rewards will give you a max of 1.75. So if you have the Flagship, there's no reason to get the Cash Rewards. Unfortunately, I don't really see Navy Federal making too many changes to these cards or adding any new cards. I think they're going to stay pretty
much the same for a long time, besides the sign-up bonuses maybe changing a little bit. So here's my thought on these cards. I'm definitely going to eventually get the Flagship card because, like I said, you're just getting so much value in that first year, and you really don't have to spend very much to justify that $49 annual fee. Even if you already have a travel credit card like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, that TSA PreCheck makes this card worth it. And if you like to stay in Airbnbs, you can also use this as your Airbnb credit card. I also think that More Rewards card is just a great card to have in your wallet because there's not too many cards that'll give you rewards for supermarkets. Now, one thing that could definitely make sense is getting the Flagship card, hitting that sign-up bonus, and then if it doesn't make sense, doing a product change to the More Rewards credit card. Or if you also want to hit the sign-up bonus on the More Rewards credit card, you could product change the Flagship to the Cash Rewards and then use the Cash Rewards as your catch-all card. But regardless, I'm definitely going to be adding the Flagship credit card to my wallet. Let me know if you guys would make any changes to this tier list, and also what other tier list videos you want to see. I'll probably make a PenFed one, maybe a USAA one. Also, let me know which cards you guys have from Navy Federal and how high of a credit limit they gave you.